All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Skill Up Accelerator R, powered by Skill Up Exchange. Skill Up Exchange is a career accelerator for working professionals. We partner with top 1% of global talent to help teams, individuals boost their productivity by 10x. At the heart of every thriving civilization lies a deep tradition of dialogue, from the philosophical exchanges of Bhagavad Gita to the probing questions of the Socratic dialogue in ancient Greece. These timeless conversations have shaped the way we think, reason, and grow. Inspired by that legacy, Skill Up Exchange is building a platform where meaningful dialogues drive transformation, where through initiatives like Skill Up Accelerator R or our upcoming live cohort based courses, our programs are rooted in rich interactive tradition between teacher and student, not passive consumption, but active engagement. And that brings up to our theme today. A 10x designer doesn't just create screens, they shape systems. They just don't respond to briefs. They challenge assumptions, reframe problems, and elevate the work of everyone around that. They bring clarity to chaos, empathy to complexity, and a sense of purpose to every project. And more importantly, they work in dialogue with users, with teammates, and with the world. Which brings us to today's guest, Margarida Barreto. She is a globally recognized AI creativity expert and the best-selling author of the Midjourney edition. With a background in visual storytelling, digital design, she has collaborated with top brands and creative agencies to develop high-impact campaigns, immersive brand experiences, and award-winning concept art, all powered by GenAI. Her expertise spans prompt engineering, creative workflow designs, and advanced image generation techniques using tools like Midjourney and beyond. But what truly sets her apart is her ability to make these complex tools accessible and practical. As an enthusiastic educator and a strong advocate for human-centered innovation, Margarida leads hands-on workshop-style masterclasses that empower designers, marketers, and storytellers to unlock the full potential of AI in visual communication. From narrative-driven image sequences to seamless tool integration, she helps creative professionals push boundaries of what's possible. Please join me in welcoming Margarida to the Skill Up Accelerator R. Margarida, the floor is all yours.
Thank you.
I'll just make you the host.
Yes, let me see if I can start sharing my properly and just a second. Let me know if you're seeing the screen and if you can all hear me well.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So happy to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for being attending. As Conal was saying, my name is Margarida Barreto. I'm from Lisbon, Portugal, and I've been working in graphic and web design more than half my life. I'm partner and creative director at Elétrico 28. We're a design and communication agency that for the past 3 years has been fully embracing AI to explore all the potential in creative work and also in our marketing strategies. Initially, we started using AI to optimize internal process, but we quickly realized it could do much more. And I can say in first person, AI opened a lot of new business opportunities. It helped the agency grow, helped our clients because we were able to provide new creative and innovative solutions, and mainly helped me as a person to get hands with a wonderful community and as a professional, because in the end I got a voice because of the passion I have by bringing awareness to causes through AI. That's how I started using AI. But I always like to say that to be clear about this, and that's why I reinforce it a lot. I don't feel AI replacing my creativity. For me, it's really another tool, like I use Adobe or Figma, but this one is like on steroids. So it really speeds my work. I see I can go further with it. And in the end, I have more work than ever, which is a little bit crazy because AI should be here to make me work less, but it's the opposite. So I'm not, I like to say this because as a designer, I'm not at the moment afraid. I still remember hearing my grandfather, he was a designer, talking about how design used to be. He used to do everything manually, every layout planned with the rulers, letter set. And I'm from the time when I studied university with zero access to computers. So I'm used to draw everything by hand, from posters to logos, typefaces. So the truth is, neither me or my grandfather have lost our jobs because of the new technology. It has been quite the opposite. So we have to think when new tools come in, from the personal computer to mobile, we just have to adapt and learn and move forward. So with AI, I think it's doing the same. Everyone says this, but it's true. It's not replacing us, it's challenging us to evolve. And I have here a slide. It will be very quickly, but to explain how AI is transforming the way we create, distribute, and optimize content, and also communicate. And that's why, sorry, someone is entering. And that's why, regardless, and I don't like numbers too much, maybe because I'm from the creative field and numbers are always a little bit too spooky for me, but we have to look at them. And content demand is set to increase 5 times plus over the next 2 years. 9 out of 10 creative teams are actively hiring driven talent. 92% of Fortune 500 companies are leveraging already OpenAI technology. So AI is everywhere in the creative industries. We have in advertising, leading agencies like WPP, they're integrating AI to generate campaign contents, including videos, slogans, and enhancing the creative process. On fashion retail, we have companies like Zalando that are growing their revenue by also incorporating AI. And in that sense, they are also reducing like their costs in 90%. And there is also the marketing field. In marketing efficiency, we have Delta Airlines that are using AI platforms to attribute 3 million in sales to specific marketing campaigns, showing the AI's ability to connect advertising efforts directly to revenue. So what does this mean? AI is happening now. Those who integrate AI into their workflows will gain a massive advantage in efficiency and creativity. That is why I say the challenge isn't about using AI to hold on to your job. It's mainly about using AI to change the game in your favor. So I'm going to show you some of the examples of the areas where I'm integrating AI in the agency, and very quickly and easily. Here you can see an example of a branding for a festival we made for a client. And he started to work with us because he saw the things I was sharing on social media. He was aware already of the company, the agency, and he wanted to create something using AI specifically. So after a lot of brainstorming and ideas, we came up with this. He liked it so much because it was so everything he wanted. He asked us to design a new logo and key visuals for a new branding that he was making for the wellness space. Um, Very integrated with the previous that you saw. So this brand had to feel distinctive, modern, and eclectic, while staying grounded in clarity and emotional connection. What I did here was I did a lot of ideation in Illustrator. I was creating the look and feels, the vibes. And what I did was getting the help of AI tools like Midjourney to help me brainstorm. And I do that a lot. I use AI tools to brainstorm, to give me surprise ideas. Uh, and that was what happened here. So I already have chosen the colors that I want, the lines that I want. The typography was already made. So I created mood boards on Midjourney and started connecting the dots. And then I ended up with something like this lady over here, this face. And then I just finished it and made the design work in Illustrator. Then AI is also helping me to connect with my clients. Here you can see the result of, again, something, a client that I have, that it's Mitsubishi. They are very open also to use AI in their brands, in their communications. And they were seeing some of the things I was doing in the architectural field, and they wanted to explore that into their concept. So what we did here was they asked me if it was possible to use those images and try to expand them use them as advertising, internal catalogs. So this was back in 23. We started developing brand assets in terms of photography, like stock photography, for some of their publicities. And we ended up creating this price catalog, advertising, some advertising ads. These are some examples of the images we created. And then they wanted to take this to another step. They wanted to have a more human aspect to it. And we started to create, and this was a very interesting project. I like to talk about it because this client is a client that likes a lot to be following the project, and collaboration to him is very important. So this is the end result, but I was talking about collaboration because this started again because of some images they saw that I was sharing randomly on social, and they saw some elements of nature, and they saw that it was a good idea to have it incorporated in their ads, to promote one of their old air conditioners, but that are still in the top front of the market. And they have an old ad that they want to update. And what we started was I shared with them the images I already had. They choose some of them, and then together we were tweaking the prompt. I was tweaking the prompt, but they were also giving their ideas to it. So in the end, we ended up with a billboard, an outdoor, and we had other ads we did, and the client was happier than ever because it felt like he also was developing the ad with us. So it was a part of his own creativity, or it had his fingerprint on it. This is the last example that I'm going to show you before we ends on the Midjourney. This was for another client we have. It's a very specific client. He sells ingredients. Most of the images they have from the factories are not very glamorous or sexy. It's mainly seeds and flowers, and they wanted to have a very specific stock photography that was almost impossible to find in any stock photography sites. So we started recreating those images, and this was perfect because in the other projects you saw, you always have to have upscalers, post editing. And here, the great thing on AI in a more smaller scale is that you don't have to be worried about upscalers because most of the images we already have from the Midjourney or any others are already in the social media ready format. So the work here was trying to create everything they wanted, because even in this image you have here almost of a breakfast scene. They were very specific because I want a number of apples here, or I want this to be cheese. So you had to be tweaking it. But yeah, again, the client felt this was like for him, and the images were the name of the brand. So my job today here is to show you how you can also do this. I'm going to show you an idea that I had because I wanted to create. I started by, okay, I want to show a client that we can do a summer campaign for a cider drink, and I want to use Midjourney to beginning to end. I don't want to go to Photoshop or Illustrator. And what I'm going to show you here is something that I see it in two ways or three. You as a designer can use this as ideation and as exploring and presenting to a client an idea that you will later, of course, have to make print ready. But you can also think that if you are a marketeer and you have an idea, but you don't know how to work with the programs, you can use this and express your idea and show to a designer to later on do the designer work. Or even if you are a client and you have time to do this, you can also do this to present to a designer to do the designer work later. So I started by, okay, I want to create an image that shows a bottle or a glass of cider in a summer vibe background. Then I remembered, okay, I'm going to do that. In this case, you see here some of the images of that I came up. And then I remember, okay, but now I need a brand or a title to this. So I knew what I want from the start. I think the best way for you to point things is if you start with a clear idea of what you want. Even then, you after will be surprised by the Midjourney results but the first start is to have a basic briefing in your head of what you want. So I remember, okay, now I need a logo, but I know that I want to make a smash up on Midjourney. So it has to be on a plain background, like or white or black or a flattened color, so I can later on edit and erase the background on Midjourney. But I knew I wanted a summer cider was the name. I knew I wanted something like written in chalk or with a handwriting type fonts. So I did some work and I ended up with this ones. I will show you right away how I did this on Midjourney. But then I looked at this and I saw, okay, this needs to have more personalization. This needs to be more appealing. Let me play with the retexture of Midjourney. So I jumped to the retexture editor, and again, I started with a predefined idea of what I wanted. I knew I wanted something like a 3D inflated. I knew I wanted with cider juice. I knew the background must should be flattened. I knew I needed contrast, so I started by creating the prompt you see here in the retexture. But then, as I was seeing the results, I was adjusting my prompt to fit well. And then I ended up with this. And this made me change my first idea of the bottle. And I'm going to show you, but this was the end result. So let's jump here. So I'm going to show you how it all started. My first idea was for this bottle. I generated with this prompt some images, and then I saw, okay, now I need to edit this. I always start making square format for almost everything because I prefer doing this and expand the image later, but maybe it's a matter of taste, but I prefer to do it this way. So I get it to the edit, open edit in a new tab, and now I knew I had to have something like this. So I just want to put like a blue, clear sky. Hit submit. And it started generating me a lot of ideas for backgrounds. Now, okay, this looks fine for one of the posters of the billboard that I want. So then as I was showing you on the PDF, I said, okay, now I need to go and have my logo. So I started creating some of the examples you see here. And I came across with this one and I said, okay, this is almost what I want. It's there, but yeah, it feels, we need that, yeah, look and feel that the vibrant, and I don't have it here. So what I did the retexture. I submit edit, open in another tab, and I hit here, retexture. This is the last example, but I started with this one. And I put it, the prompt that I showed you on the PPT. So it started giving me a lot of ideas, and I was seeing, okay, it's cool, but this looks like caramel. It doesn't look like cider. And I was continuing generating, editing the prompts. I ended up with this one. Okay, it's more like a beer, but this is the way. So I continued changing my prompt. And then, surprise, I got a thing that I was not entirely expecting, but this is the thing I like. Midjourney sometimes it gives you good surprises, and okay, this is a thing that I want. Let's start working on this. Um, Unfortunately, yesterday and the days before, Midjourney, sometimes with the edits and retexture, have a lot of glitches. So it was not performing well. But what happened was, again, a cool surprise because I was asking him just to put my image bigger because I wanted again to put an aspect ratio of 2:3 because I'm going to create a poster with this. And when I was asking it, it created something like this on the background. And I saw, okay, this that I'm seeing here in the bottom and in the top, this sounds interesting. Let me explore this. So I took this image and I erased the thing that I wanted, and it generates again. And it gave me some of these examples. And then I changed my initial idea of the bottle that started all of this, and I saw, okay, this is much more in the vibe of this. So I can present to the client the idea of having not one, but two posters, two billboards, one with the logo and the other with the product. But yeah, I'm still stuck with this. And this to be only in a poster, it's not enough. So again, I started editing and I put the image again in the resize 2:3. And I started asking for, yeah, put me some sliced apples, oranges, mint, something fresh that can make the things work together. And finally, I got something like this. After I was happy with it, I upscaled it to the gallery. And we can go here. This was the final. Now I see, okay, now I have one poster with a cider. I already saved the one that was generated by accident when I was retexturing the logo. So now I have these two images. What I'm going to do is I was already working on this here. I'm going to forget that, and I'm going to create something like this. So how am I going to do? Remember, I was in this one. I think it's this one, the edits. Let me just go back to my edit. It's this one. Yeah. I was generating this at the same time. And what I was doing is like, okay, now I need to put a billboard here because I want to construct that image, the mock-up. So I'm having this. I'm going to upload a previous image of my mock-up that I previously have done on Midjourney. And I want to still explore if this can work. So the best way to do this is you choose this image. You gotta go to erase a little bit so you can have a blend of the poster. And then you jump here to the background layer and you erased also a little bit. And then just let me grab here the prompt. And you'll have to wait. What will happen if this doesn't give us any bug in the meantime is that when you erase the background of the image and a little bit of the image in the front, you can get a better blend of the two. So this sometimes happens. If you see here, it breaks the link. It takes a lot of time to redo the images, but we can go, I think it's here. Yeah, this is the example I did before. So I did exactly the same thing. I started with this. This is the process we are doing. I hit enter, and sorry, I got some of this. And you can see it's better blended. And what I did after, I added a new layer. I prefer to do this step by step because it's better if you do first one and then do the second later on, because it tends to hallucinate if you create a lot of layers here and then submit edits. So the best way to do this is one by one. So I choose the best image that I wanted, and now I'm going to add my second poster of the cider. And we are going to do the same we did before. It's here. Now I'm going to erase exactly like I did in the other. I come back to the background layer and do the same. I can restore this because I think this is too much. Okay. And I changed the prompt here. Let me see if yeah. My tip is always use the prompt, the same prompt you used for the image you generated. So it can interpret it better when you press submit answer. Now we have to wait, but my first idea was to do something like this. But as you see, this doesn't adds up with this. And that's why when I got that glass of cider, I saw it was much better to incorporate here. So again, we have the broken links, but I previously already have done this. So what happens next? I don't like this. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to add from the file the one that I already have done. Oops. And put it here. Now I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to erase the layer. And let me see. It can be this one. Don't know if this is going to work, but let's see. This will be here. This was the one. Yeah, I was seeing if I already had done this. But after he does this, what I did was, again, we have the same bug. But what happened was when it was ready, I upscaled it to my gallery. And this is not the one we did today. This was one I've done before, but the idea is this. But the one that is processing now is better because the two posters are perfectly blended in the background, and the quality is better also than this one. Let's see if the edit is already, yeah, going to do a refresh. Well, we have to wait, but I think this is one of the coolest things on Midjourney is even if some of these features are still in developing, the way we can use them to help us doing everything in just one platform. It's crazy. It's crazy. And when I think of how many tools I needed to use and manage just to be even creating the first image or being doing and delivering such crazy textures to a logo. It's completely nuts to see how we are evolving. Um, and the great part again that I say always is this kind of surprise outcomes, and that can change a little bit of the way you were thinking of conducting the workflow. I started thinking about that bottle in that rustic environment with a wooden table because it was my idea. It didn't meant to be the perfect one. But then this came up, and then I saw, okay, this is much fresher and summer vibe that my first idea. And then I came up with this. So what I'm trying to say is it's great, and the best way for you is to use these tools with an image or an idea, a concrete idea in mind, but then you can use them to expand imagination. And that's why I use it a lot as a brainstorm. While this is doing, I can show you the example of the prompt I did to create that movie, because it helps me a lot to when I want to create these mock-ups and create everything together. Oh, I forgot to change my aspect ratio here. But yeah, you see, even the aspect ratio was not the correct. It doesn't differ much. in almost of them. It kept the blue and the white as I showed in the prompt, as I asked in the prompt. Now I'm liking this better than the other that I have, but yeah, or this one. And going back here, just to talk a little bit because of the prompt, I always stick to this. For me, I think for almost everyone that creates with prompts, for me, this is the recipe for the contextual prompting. I use this like the basis, but that doesn't mean that I sometimes change and tweak it a little bit. Not always the subject has to be a girl, a dog, or a share. It can be even a camera angle. It depends on the thing that you want to put highlight on your prompt, the most important thing. And so that is the only thing that sometimes change is the subject, but always at first, and the parameters, of course, at last. And yeah, let's see if we going back to the edits, if we have any luck. Well, the tool is not helping, so I just don't know if any of you have any questions or anything. Oh, no questions.
Margarida, there are
Every
questions in the chat. There are some questions. So Maria is asking that about the recording. Yeah, we would be sharing the recording. Then there is question from Brianna. Is that how do you decide on your stylized amount and your chaos?
Mhm. Regarding the recording, I think we'll be sharing it. Yes.
That's true. We'll be sharing it.
Yeah. About the stylized, I have here, let me show you. By pre-definition, I myself tend to use this kind of stylization. It's like a middle ground for me. Less than this, it doesn't fit right to me, and more than this, just when I want to go crazy. But again, depends on the prompt. Sometimes I use chaos, but in very slow amounts. But always depends on the thing that I'm going for. I was going to see here, yeah, because in my sometimes I don't use any, or I try to use the raw one, that gives things more direct in terms of like a photographic aspect of the thing. You can see here it's more raw. It doesn't has so many creative details. So I think this is using raw style is perfect for products, real photography. But again, I think it all depends in what is the outcome that you are asking for or going for. I hope I have answered that. I don't know if there are
Actually, Brian has a counter question on this. Before I go to Cat's question, I think I just missed it. Yeah, I just pick up a Cat's question first. Is that do you use mood board or the personalized tools? And is it just for this presentation? I think she's asking about a follow-up to Brianna's question, or do you use in general for your work little parameters?
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm checking the questions. Yeah. Do I use mood boards? Yes, I use mood boards. Like I said and showed in the presentation, for some of the things I use mood boards to create a vibe and a look and feel. For this specific that I'm showing here today, I didn't use the mood boards because I wanted to show a different way of doing things, but I'll be talking about mood boards in one of the classes because it's very valuable and it can give a lot of creative outcomes and again, more ideas. The personalization tool, I use it, but I didn't want it to use in this case because I didn't want to put my personal style here and wanted to show to you all just the raw thing without any Margarida personalization on the image. But yeah, I use a lot the P tool. I see here another question is about for this last process, would it be quicker to use Photoshop? Um, in some things, yes. And that's a great question because some of the things, I think I can go here to the presentation. It was for this one. So in this client, Euro Ingredients, we had to create a lot of specific things for them, as I was saying. And when I use, for example, Firefly or some generate image on Photoshop, I feel that the outcomes are not so perfect pixel as they do or as they are generated on Midjourney. And I know your question wasn't just about the generation itself, but the adjustments I was doing. If I have to say that, yeah, because I know to work with Adobe very well. It's faster if I go and jump to Adobe. But on Midjourney doing this, there's another tweak. It's because of that. Again, I cannot avoid telling this is the surprise effect because you are generating and you don't know what to expect. You choose the prompt and you conduct the prompt, but you always get that feeling. So yeah, I think it's a personal thing, but I like to stay and watch what is doing. And in the end, if I don't like, I always can go and jump to Photoshop and do it. The great thing of doing everything of that on Midjourney, I'm not saying this is like the final product for a client, of course, but this is just a draft of an idea, like to show him in a debrief or something. So, and you can see it was very quick to do, even with the Midjourney bugs that are lately on the clock. But yeah, I think I like it because of that. I'm seeing a key here. Do you use in general for your work little parameters? Yes, I use the stylize. I'm playing with the experienced new parameter that they launched. I don't know. I think it's not the final name. Um, but it's giving more detail for some images. In others, I think it's a question of doing the right balance because in the kind of I'm going to show you instead of talking. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use the 5. And I'm going to, oh, I'm in the raw because I was talking about this one. But I'm going to use again. And yeah. Here, I think the only thing is about the level of details of the image. Maybe these aren't the best examples because it's not a very detailed image. If it was a woman's face or, but yeah, you can see that it adds a lot of more things. But if we use the same, and now here we put, they say till, I think it's 25, you don't see, you see difference, but in a good way. And I'm going to exaggerate now and put here like, after this number 50, it will start to be more creative. And then I'm going to try with hundreds. 100s, I think it's so you can see here we have with 5. I think it's even the light is more accurate with but I asked for natural lightning. Okay, but you see a little difference. This was with 25. I don't know if you are seeing the same as me, but you can see a little more detailed. And yeah, with 100, it starts to lose the framing of the things and be more centralized in the vertical billboards itself. So it lost a lot of the environment that I prefer from these ones even. Yeah, but my responding to the question, really, the one that I use mostly is the stylized. It's my, and yeah, playing with stylized, a little bit of chaos sometimes. And sometimes when I want to go nuts, I try the weird one. But just sometimes and for specific jobs. And yes, I use sometimes multi-prompting, but I haven't tried with V7. I think it's not I think it's not using this multi-prompting, or because I was using with I don't recall now the name of it. Sorry, I didn't have dinner yet. Once you have an image you like in general, how do you start to refine your prompts? Any tips to keep the image from oh yes, what I do, to refine the prompts, I don't erase the main things of the prompt. So in general, if you want to change your prompt, it's because you're not liking, or the style is not correct, or the framing is not correct, or the colors, but you're not affecting changing that, you're not affecting your main structure. What I do a lot is I start by 2 ways, or I start with a smaller prompt and I'm going to construct over the path or sometimes it's the other way around. I write all the things that I want, even those that I'm not sure if that I want them, and then giving the results, I start to erasing them, changing them, um, just to keep it as I want. And a lot of times I do a lot of style reference. That is one of the things that I use many times. And yeah, ideogram is much better with text and logos. Yes, definitely, I agree. But I wanted to show what was possible to do here, because someone here is saying even ChatGPT is getting real. Exactly. And one of the things I saw with V7 in the beginning, it was very bad in the things it should not be. But over the time of using the V7, I'm seeing that if you create small portions of text, it has great results. And my idea here was also to show you that the best way to create, if you want a more complex thing, the best way to is to create the logo, create the environment, and blend it in the end all together with the editing tool. I think that is one of the tips that I can give you. I'm trying to check here. How can I go from after creating this? Get the source file from Midjourney. Mostly we used or the Illustrator layer. Okay, from here I'm answering to Salman. From here you cannot have an editable um, source file. You get a JPEG, and you can tweak it on Adobe Photoshop. Well, my answer to the previous question about if it was faster on on Photoshop or in Midjourney, I think it was like, okay, I have the mock-up image, I download it to my computer, then I have the poster and I have the one with the logo. I download the three for the computer, and then on Photoshop I put them all together. But you don't have it layered. You only can download the JPEG in the end. And this is a good question. Would it be possible to set up a profitable creative agency just by having the knowledge of Midjourney and a crew of limited people, 2, 3? Okay, this is a good question, but it's difficult to answer you. I think if you know how to use the right tools and what you want, and you are focused, um, combining Adobe or any other that you use with any other, we are talking about Midjourney, but it can be any other tool. It's possible, but it depends in what's your expectation of the revenue. But yes, it's possible. Yeah. Yes. Do you like using draft in V7? It's faster, but yeah. How can I get yeah. Yeah, I already answered this, Said. I want to know, after creating an image on Midjourney, how can I get the editable source file like PSD or AI format? It's not possible. Maybe someday, but at the moment it's not possible. So I think I answered almost all the questions, or I don't know, anyone wants to add anything else? or I can jump to
Yeah.
give the word to Skill Up.
Thanks a lot, Margarita, for the excellent workshop. And I just wanted to thank everyone. We just wanted to have quick two announcements that if you would have enjoyed the session and if you would like to have know more about Midjourney, you can join the Margarita's full cohort-based course on Midjourney. It will have 12 live sessions, 5 recorded sessions. But more than that, apart from Margarita's deep expertise, it's also a chance to connect with the community, which has creative directors, UI developers, designers, photographers, and marketing professionals. And since everybody has joined the workshop, we are rolling out exclusive coupon code, which is also mentioned on the slide. And the links already there on the slide. We'll also put on the chat group. Secondly, Margarita's also, we are rolling out a special Discord server for her. The QR codes there where Margarita will share her best practices, prompts, image inspiration, and we can share best practices around Midjourney. So yeah, that's about it. Once again, a big thank you, Margarita, for sharing the brilliant presentation today, and
Yeah.
also the audience for keeping it quite engaged.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and I think in the end that everyone had fun, and everyone just had a little bit of another insight or just another idea, and or that I brought curiosity to you all. So thank you so much for being here, for all the questions, and yeah, I hope you liked it. Thank you.